Hi, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of the Big Mic on G9ija TV. Today, we have a couple of events that we actually want to talk about. And these events are quite interesting, really. So, once again, my name is Olatune, and here we have the kickoff. Thank you. Right. So, we're going to start all the way in the United Kingdom, where we have the news about a nurse, okay, that was recently imprisoned. It's really such a sad story. But let's get started by going straight into it. Let me just bring that on the screen. Right. So the story actually started by saying that NHS nurse who left our 10-week-old baby to die while she went to work at hospital is jailed for 3 years after being caught trying to flee to Nigeria. So, an NHS nurse who left our 10-week-old baby to die while she went to work has been jailed for 3 years. Single mother Ruth Ota, 28, abandoned Joshua Akerele in her nurse accommodation for 8 hours so she could work a shift on December 20, 2022. When she returned to her room, she found Joshua lifeless in his cot and dialed 999, telling operators her son was not breathing. The infant was pronounced dead an hour later, with text showing he may have overheated due to layers of clothing and bedding he was wrapped in. Otter initially told the police that she had collected Joshua from a childminder after she had finished work, took him back home and fed him, placed him on the bed, and then fell asleep next to him. She claimed that she woke up, she found him unresponsive. Later in a police interview, Otter gave no comments to question asked and was freed on bail pending investigation. I mean, look, they did not bolt. Let me just say, the summary of this basically just has to do really with the fact that, look, this one, she is a single mom. And the truth of the matter is that in the United Kingdom, it's not really easy to be a single mom, honestly. Most ladies don't actually realize it. There's so much actually happening. And some of this, I think, we'll be bringing in tomorrow, Thursday. Well, we're already in Thursday or on Friday. There's this video. Let me just digress a bit to tell you some of the things that are really happening. Nigerian women are essentially being told by the police. The police basically actually called on the Nigerians that are within the force, okay, to tell that they actually had like a sort of campaign awareness right now. I know this is going on in London because everyone's seen the video where you actually had a police officer who has to be of Nigerian origin who basically was telling Nigerians in Yoruba, stop reporting your husbands. Can you imagine that? That the Nigerian women are being told that they should stop for whatever reason. They are being told that, look, you are reporting your husbands and you are actually you want to get rid of them. For what? So that you can have freedom? Or anyway, so that will be coming in anyway. So let me get into that. So they were being told that, look, it's having a negative impact on their children. That I don't know what sort of El Dorado that you're actually thinking. The truth is, there is strength in numbers. Two is better than one. I can understand if something happened, then you happen to be the only person looking after the child, it's different. But when you deliberately actually set out to destroy your home, maybe because you will get maybe more tax break or whatever it is, it's just not what it's actually what the hassle. It's not what the hassle at all. So anyway, so what really happened with this with this lady basically is that hardworking. Most people that know nurses, they work very hard. But the sheer fact that she was a single mom, it's not a crime. Things happen. Okay. But it actually puts these single mothers, anyone, whether it's even single fathers, it actually put them at a disadvantage. Who is going to be there? That is the key challenge. I know when it is. I mean, I know what it is. Bringing up our kids and all. You know, my wife and I basically, coming together, having to do tag team. Bringing them. You take. Might take them to school. I will bring them back and all that. So I could just imagine if it were just one of us, it's going to be terrible. So I mean, at the end of the day, and she has to work. She went to work. I mean, look, what she did was just very stupid. It could have been the reason, because she didn't really give the reason why she did, but the truth of the matter was that she actually has the child minder. She asked the child minder to lie to the police that the child was actually with the police, with the child minder, and then from there she actually, on her way from work, she went to the child minder, picked up the child, and all. None of which really happened. Okay, and if you know most of these child minders, they will tell you the truth, and I don't blame her, because if not, she'll become complicit. So she just told the police. So the child mother just told the police that, look, I haven't seen her in days. I don't know whether because it was the cost of the child, what normally child minding, how much they will charge is not cheap. Most single girls, if you're listening, look, if you know that you are not ready to actually have to be a single mom, close your legs. Simple. That's the truth. Because you will find that it is not exactly what you think. A baby is not a doll. Now, this lady, Ruth Alter, I think that's how it's actually pronounced. She went to work. She didn't go to a party. She's not even one of those people that maybe had, maybe she was an irresponsible mom. Yes, I think the need to work was so strong that she had to leave her baby. Why she did not call the childminder? Maybe the childminder was not available at that time, or maybe because the cost of how much she will pay, and she was trying to save money. Either way, anyway, unfortunately, because that baby was left for so long, over 8 hours, the child died. The autopsy actually showed that the child overheated. That means that she tried as much as possible to keep the child wrapped up, but to do that, it's just plain. It's crazy. So for me, really, I know that I'm not entirely, trying to pontificate here, about, you know, what she did, you know, truly was not a good thing. That was a bad call. That was a bad decision. Nobody should do that. To leave a child, a baby for that matter, alone, 8 hours. Wow. I know she needs to work, but that was madness. That was madness. So now she's been jailed. She's going to spend 3 years. That's it. And she will never work as a nurse again. Not in the United Kingdom, anyway. It's really, really a sad story. This is what you actually call, you know, this is a double-edged sword. She doesn't work, she doesn't get paid. But really, that baby was totally dependent on her. And she actually owned it a duty of care. You know, yes, it will have been a difficult call. Maybe she won't have all the money that she actually needs to. She could easily have just called our place to say, look, I don't have a child minder and I have to stay with the baby. They will understand. Absolutely, they will understand. Even if they terminate your appointment, that which I believe they would not. So I think she actually allowed the the fact that she needed to make money cloud her sense of judgment, and the result is what, 3 years in prison. So moving swiftly on, um, the next story I've actually got here is about a Nigerian guy that got deported from Germany. This guy, for whatever reason, is determined. This guy wants to go to America. So apparently, he actually went to Germany, and when he got to Germany, well, the authorities found out, and they deported him. So this guy now decided to go back again, and he found himself, I think, in Libya, making his way. You know, what was really interesting about this is that, there's this innate thing within every human being. Honestly, I can just imagine the situation in Nigeria has made people so. I don't blame them. Honestly, I don't blame them. I know there are opportunities in Nigeria. Personally, I will tell you there's opportunity in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But let's look at some of this guy's story. It is the video, and I want to share this briefly. Then we can talk about this.
We are coming. Now America, now the pass and the go. I believe that the
Hmm.
time no do. See how we go. Now if our chairman.
You know, in the midst of that
Yeah, men dey
harshness,
outside. Men
this
dey
guy,
outside.
they are laughing. They are. These
Men
are all.
dey
These are all
busy there.
Nigerians. So,
Guys everywhere. Now guys come to pass the route pass.
did you get that?
Yakpa. The yakpa everywhere.
Yeah. They say anywhere but Nigeria. When you look at the kind of, you know, when you look at the kind of situation that we have in Nigeria, it is not a surprise. It's not a surprise that people are determined to get out. It's not, because it's almost like um, the government don't really care about the people. I know they do say that no, they are making every stringent effort. It's not the fault of Tinubu. A lot of people have said Tinubu should leave the place and all that. Look, the truth is, it was really bad. We have previous governments, Jonathan, Buhari. This is a cumulative thing that has happened. Honestly, we are borrowing more than we can pay, which we'll see in a video that is coming up. The inflation and everything that we've got, Nigeria is living beyond its means. Hence, all the borrowing, printing money, it's very easy. Inflation. But let's continue with the video.
Olivier is coming back again after deportation from Germany. He's coming back very soon.
Wow. This is the middle of the desert. This was when he was making his way to Libya. This is what is called no man's land. It's like a movie. The quest for a better life. Like seriously, the quest for a better life. Right in the middle of the desert. You can see all that. These are not just Nigerians. They are from all over Africa. Ghana, Congo, Togo, Sierra Leone. I don't know whether we have Liberians there. I mean, just imagine. Just look at that. Wow. The funny thing is that Libya itself, officially, they are still at war. They are still at war, civil war. I really like this guy, His name is Olive. I don't know him, but that's the name he gave.
Deportation.
I like it. I just love the guy's spirit. He's determined to escape.
Listen, you see, get 5 years.
Wow, did you see that?
This is only where you can pass when they deport you from abroad. So Olivier have no choice. Pass through desert again. So I know the whole person. So decision. So what happened? Yeah.
Wow. says he plans to end up in America by all means someday, just so that his future generation can have a good life. Quite frankly, I hope he makes it. It's not something I will encourage people to undertake, especially for women. Some of these people that are well, I won't say trafficking them, who are agents taking them from one place to the other. Most often, the women, they turn them into prostitutes. And sometimes they will meet bandits, terrorists along the way, who will treat them like with a sort of evil that is best left to the imagination. The women can be taken there, like the guy, for instance, like the guy driving, they could kill the guy, take the women, rape them, do all sorts of mad stuff with them, and nobody will be wiser. Sometimes even the drivers conveying them, we abandon them in the middle of the desert to die. In this sort of thing, the wickedness of man, it's of some human beings. In fact, you can't call them human beings. It's evident in the way these people have been treated. You know, it's really bad. Now they've stopped in the middle of the desert. Wow. And they're smiling, going through this hardship, keeping a good, keeping a positive attitude, just to survive. You're ready to undertake one of the most dangerous journey that anyone could embark on in the 24th century.
I don't wear shoe. I don't wear shoe.
Can you imagine? Did you hear that? Can you hear that? You know, this is an indictment on the various governments in Africa, basically. It's one of the worst things people can do. The governments in Africa have to do better. They have to really, really look after people. They have to, so that our people won't, subject themselves to this sort of madness. The quest to make it, to undertake that, to go through things, the hand of, terrorists, kidnappers, it's crazy. African government, once again, have to really, really step up their game to look after our people. It's not really fair to just allow people. I mean, what could cause human being to go through the desert to get to what? To Libya, or to try and get to? It's the right of every human being to seek out, a good life, regardless of, whether they are doing it illegally. I mean, I won't encourage anyone to do it illegally, but there are some who will do it. There have been people who have been, who have been arrested, say, for instance, in the United Kingdom, who are about to be deported, and they committed suicide. There are people who just, and they're just ready. They will not. They will do all sorts because they know that they're going back into an uncertain future. But really, how do you tell somebody that, don't worry, Nigeria is still okay, you can manage yourself? The truth is that we all love Nigeria. That's the truth. Despite all the terrorism, all the madness that is taking place. In the midst of every other thing, cost of food, cost of living, then petrol price actually goes up. The government needs to actually create a campaign awareness to tell the people, carry the people along, take the pain. Ministers should go about, the states, the communities, explaining what is going on. That is getting the people engaged for them to be able to understand the issues that are actually on the ground. Not just we just read it to say, oh, some policies that we have to put in place, and that's it. It doesn't have empathy, it doesn't have compassion. It is true, subsidy, it has to come to an end. The sort of money that was being taken, that was being swindled, good lord. That Nigeria still continues to exist, that is not a failed state yet. Even though some people try to say that Nigeria, even in the West, they keep saying Nigeria is a failed state. No, Nigeria is not a failed state. But we're toying with it. We are at the precipice of a failed state. Because when you look at kidnappers, bandits, armed robbers, killing, pillaging, destroying people, killing babies, raping women, destroying lives, destroying crops, animals, everything. Please, what would be the definition? God help us. But we have to stand and face this evil. We can't just fold our arms and just expect that these things. I mean, you can see the result. People are trying to find a better life for themselves. You know, they're looking for a better life for themselves. So the next one that I want to talk about is about this one is really, you know, Nigerians are very rich. Hence the reason you have some head of state or vice president of Liberia. Look at the story here. The Liberia's VP, Jeremiah Pan, it says Nigerian owns 4 commercial banks in our country. Liberia Vice President has said that Nigerians now own about half of the Liberia commercial banks. He said this during the 17th Annual Banking and Finance Conference organized by the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria in Abuja on Tuesday. Kwon, speaking to an audience of banking professionals and government officials, praised the role Nigerians banks play in Liberia economic landscape. Please, we would like to see more of that role that they are playing in Liberia. I do not begrudge bankers, doing business. Look, we are capitalists. But I think the banks should be doing more. They say charity begins at home. The likes of, like MTN, South African, telecommunication giants, their profits, their money, rightly, they take it to South Africa. Our bankers, where are they taking the money? They take it to Liberia. I mean, it's fine. But what about trying to ensure that we have, you know, uh, um, creating avenues, possibilities where we can encourage economic growth in our own nation? It's really sad, when in other places we can see what Nigerians are doing there. Then that begs the question: why are we not doing it? I know there have been several schemes that are being put in place to stimulate the economy. I know, but the truth of the matter is that there are infrastructure developments and things that needs to be done. So, but it's really a scary prospect when we keep borrowing money, not just from China, all over the world. You can see I mean, the interest rate in Nigeria. I mean, now it's getting worse. Inflation and everything is just, I mean, we all know, what are we exporting? Most of the borrowing that has happened in Nigeria is being borrowed against oil, we are being told. So the oil that we are producing, they are being used to pay off the debt that had been borrowed by past administration. We've even gotten to that. And when we print money, that's part of the inflation. When we're spending beyond our means, it's part of the inflation. Those in government need to actually tamper their opulence, their lavish lifestyle. They need to so that people, they can empathize with the people. But no, most are just doing it like the governor of Zamfara recently, bought BMW 2025. What's the justification for that? The people are hungry. Why in God's name is it difficult to just look as leaders? I think also these politicians are supposed to be what? Leadership by example. Is that not what we're meant to be seeing? But we're not seeing it. Unfortunately, Nigeria is such a great country. We need these things needs to be done. You know, yes, it's great that our banks, it's commendable. You can go to Liberia, other countries everywhere. But I'm sure they will be asking these people about what about their country? What about Nigeria? Have we done enough? Have the banks? That's the question they need to ask themselves. These are ethical questions. The banks need to practice ethical business operations, that their policies must be seen to be ethical, which means that they must make sure that, when they are lending to businesses, small businesses, to encourage, to stimulate, a free market, to help to lift people out of poverty, the interest rates must be affordable. I'm sure they are not setting up businesses in Liberia with high interest rates, the cost of borrowing. If not, their vice president will not be in Nigeria to come and celebrate with the CIBN in Abuja. It needs to be seen. We need to face that reality. Nigeria is too massive to fail. Nigeria can't fail. God knows that we need a strong, powerful, visionary leaders in Nigeria. It's not about let the youth. We've seen what we, the youth, so to speak, have done that are in politics. If it is an indicator of anything to go by, it's even worse. Because the ones that we actually believe that, if we have the youth there, they're even more arrogant. Governor of Kogi State is a good example. What happened? G9ija now. I do not, celebrate a man when he's down, but he brought this upon himself because it was like he was going to be there forever. Anyway, so next thing, yeah, the last but not the least is on terrorism. You can imagine this guy. I don't hate people, but you know what? I hate this guy. Father, please forgive me. Because as a Christian, we're not really meant to hate anyone. But this guy, Lord, please. What this guy did and his likes have been doing, you can see. This guy here, this one, I don't want to mention his name. People like this we should not be giving them oxygen. He said, dares the chief of defense staff to come after him, confirms that he is imposing 50 million levy on Zamfara community. This is really sad. When you have a governor that is driving around in the 2025 BMW, and you now have one of the most despicable human being. So let's call him despicable. This despicable human being, who shall remain nameless, even though he was given a name, it says notorious bandit kingpin, the despicable, has once again dared the Nigerian military to come and get him after the chief of staff, defense staff, vowed to capture him. Recall that General Musa, while addressing journalists in Abuja on Tuesday, said, "So just a matter of time before Tuji is despicable, is arrested." Describing despicable as a deranged. It's not only deranged, he's a very stupid guy. He's a murderous guy and he should not be treated as a human being. On the issue of despicable, he's just a deranged individual who feels power, but I can bet you that it's just a matter of time. I pray so. It's a matter of time we're going to get him, and I can assure you that it will be within the shortest possible time. We're going to address that issue on the issue of payment of levy to bandits. That is what they live on. It shows you the desperation they are in. One, even when they get the money, they don't have a way to use it. Two is that the money they are getting, they know is blood money. However, in response to CDS, the chief of defense staff, despicable in a video on Wednesday, the bandits dared the army chief to come and get him. Dressed in military uniform. This is what all this. And the moment they are caught now, you see the guy looking like a sorry. I don't want to use that word. The story A. I'm sure you get what it is. So he called on Musa to enlist renowned Islamic cleric Murtala Sada, who had accused Minister of State of Defense Bello Matawala of sponsoring Despicable and other bandits to join the battlefield and face him directly. In the video, Despicable also resorted to a post by security analyst Bulama Bukati addressing accusation that he imposed 30 million on the residents of Moriki town in Zamfara state. He said, "My name is Despicable." You know, he said, he even called them my people. Can you imagine? This is what I've been saying, all that I've been saying. I will continue to say that whether they like it or not, to those who disagree with our word, I urge patience. We tell the haters to be more patient, you slaves of the West. You see, this guy is very, very, I mean, honestly, the government and the security services have to really deal with this guy because this guy is very smart. This despicable. He knows how to use issues and things, create fear in the people. But after creating fear in them, then give them opportunities and say, "We will look after you." Even call them names, my people. It's called winning. Is that there's a name, the American heart and minds. Seriously, if people start paying this guy, it's going to there's a lot of things that's actually happening that is making this situation worse. One is paying ransom when they are kidnapped. But may we not find ourselves in that sort of situation? Imagine somebody being in this sort of situation. If one's enemy's family member is being kidnapped, people will do all sorts of things to rescue them, sell their homes, do all sorts. But it only makes the situation worse. You know, the other day we were talking about, on this program, we were talking about the things that the government could really do. There should be like a campaign awareness, how Nigerians can defend themselves. Right now, Nigerians are just like sitting ducks, sitting there jellily, so that they can just be taking pot shot at them one by one. I don't know of any campaign awareness that that tries to sort of advise Nigerians in sort of guidelines, the measures to take. And I keep saying it, we all need to be like those people who killed about 39, bandits, terrorists. They defended their community. Those people fled. That is what we need. We need to build up more success stories like that. Security services need to engage those people and find out what did they do, what strategy did they use. Because those guys just didn't merely just do that. They defended themselves and defeated these people. We need more like that. If not, you see, these guys, if not, I'm just saying, it's possible that if they're able to take on Nigerians, defenseless communities, what they will simply do is that, and then they will take some of them, because I heard stories like they will come to some place and they will say, okay, right, okay, they won't write letter like armed robbers. Are they any better than armed robbers? I don't even know which one is better. There's none of them is better. They will write them letters and say, we are coming at so and so date. Whether those people like it or not, they will come, kill their children, take the women especially. Then they will start asking. Now they don't even bother keeping their victims alive. They just kill them with impunity. And I'm not seeing the campaigns. We've heard stories of where I think in somewhere in Niger State, they said there's about 200 communities. There are only 39 police officers with 9 guns. Out of those 9 guns, only 5 is functional. Ah, no wonder these people, they are going to bring their people from Mali. Please come. Nigeria is very easy. That's the message that we are sending. Where is the urgency? How can we have 39 police officers guiding 200 communities in the midst of this madness? Among, it's like we're setting lambs in the midst of lions. These terrorists, they see Nigeria as the easy picking. They are competing among themselves. Anytime they are broke, you just come down to the highway and just grab people, and that's it. They will now be making some demonic demands. We want 500 million. We want this. The fact that they can do that to the emirs in the north, do we even know the implication of that? See, one of the emirs, I've forgotten the gentleman's name. May his soul rest in peace. I saw the man in his regalia, and when they actually arrested, what they did to him. May God forgive those in government. That is all I will say. May their own family not be found in this sort of situation. I saw the governor of Borno State. Our governor, is it Buni? The man is trying. That's all I can say. But it is not enough. We need, Nigeria needs outside help for our security. We cannot just allow the lives of our soldiers just to be wasted. 2 days ago, we read about the stories of how some of our military personnel are leaving, and they complained about corruption, allegedly. They complain about not getting enough support. Every human life is precious. Please, we are appealing to the Nigerian government. Please. It is not shameful to get help. Nigeria too has sown seed. We have gone to other countries to help to keep the peace. We need help with countries that actually have experience of dealing with these despicable non-human beings, because we cannot call them human beings. These people are demons that should be eliminated. They don't have respect for human life. They said, we are not afraid to die. When you are dealing with an enemy that tells you that you have better step up, we have to step up as Nigerians. We have to defend ourselves. When people are traveling, please, anything legal you can carry, if it's umbrella, even if it's just your, should I say, farm rig, please don't be found without nothing. These people don't show mercy. They don't care about our people. So there you have it. So I just want to say thanks, everyone. I really appreciate. So we've come to the end of today's episode, and same time tomorrow, 9 o'clock, I will be here. Good night and God bless.